If you are tired of suffering on this planet and you want to experience heaven now, then heed this call, because I'm going to give you some techniques in order for you to align with that frequency. Peace unto you. My name is Nadiie, and today is all about how to retire internal anger. Let us begin. At a foundation, what you must understand about internal anger is it's all a part of the ego's plan. See, some people say the ego and the dark agenda is one and the same. And we can agree to an extent. See, the dark agenda and the ego's plan really work hand in hand. The ego wants you to believe in separation. So anything that the ego puts in front of you, individualism, separation, suffering, any of these things, do not believe them. And affirm in your mind's eye without using your words, because your words are still a part of this world. Use your mind's eye and affirm something greater. Your ego will say you're a doctor. You are a dancer. You are a chemist. You are a rapper. You are an artist. But God says you are far more than that label. It's only the tongue that produced that label. So you need not the tongue. Use your mind's eye. Use your God mind in order to vocalize who you are. You can say, I am that I am. That's a cool foundation. But another thing that you can affirm is literally, I am the embodiment of God's will. That's why in our mystery school, we tell people to refer to each other as God's will. Hey, God's will, how you doing? Literally like that. Instead of saying brother or sister, you say God's will. If you are interested in joining our mystery school, DM me and I'll give you our free 3-day course. Because if you aren't willing to integrate at least 3 days to God, why are you trying to join a mystery school? But you literally have to remove your perception of this reality, because it's all based upon the ego. So you're never going to resolve internal conflict or internal anger if you don't go to the root of it. The root of it is the ego, because that's where all of these things were birthed. See, anger comes from, I'm not experiencing total bliss like I was when I was in heaven. There's a cosmic joke, and the cosmic joke is you already are in heaven. You just dreamt that you weren't. So as a master, it's our job or a duty to guide you to seeing yourself as God sees you. That's why I say one of the most powerful prayers, A.K.A. divine statements, is God, guide me to seeing as you see, and so it is. Because when you look at yourself the way God looks at you, you'll figure out, oh, I'm abundant. Oh, God, you say I deserve to be this, I deserve to be that. Oh, matter of fact, not only do I deserve it, but it's my birthright. Matter of fact, it's more than my birthright. It's why I'm existing. You exist to be abundant. You exist to be powerful. That's why when you ask these beings of light, the true beings of light that's not trying to manipulate, and you ask them, what is my purpose? They literally tell you just to be. What does being mean? Being means to exist. If you aren't able to at least flirt with the idea of that, then the ego is literally just watering its plants, its seed within you. And when that seed sprouts, and it has for most of us, sometimes we go through some spiritual experiences, uproot the weeds. All that does is basically have the ego leave for a few days and then come back, because you're still subscribing to the world. You literally have to stop subscribing to the world. You have to flirt with the idea that it's okay to be very, very loving. I don't care if someone says, oh, yeah, the ones that be like, oh, I love you too quick, oh, they're weird. Or the ones that be like, oh, so accessible, that's weird. That is all of this world. It's the ego, because the ego doesn't want you to be connected with people or self. See, this all goes into a pathway that aligns with yourself first. What you must understand is nothing in the exterior world is going to resolve your internal conflict. It's conflict, it's internal. You got to go within and be like, listen, I'm more than this. I'm more than this body. I'm more than these thoughts. I'm more than this anger. I'm more than this conflict. You literally have to invite the ego. See, people don't think they even have this ability. This is one of the first techniques you can utilize. You quite literally invoke the ego. The ego is going to be like, ooh, you don't know what you just did. You just invoked me. You just used your own power against you. Yeah. This is an old Buddha consciousness technique. The real ones, they know. You invite your ego. You literally can have a visualization. You can do it while you're meditating. I recommend you do it while you're meditating so you don't get influenced by what the ego has created, which is this world. Visualize yourself in like an interrogation room, like in the little CIA scenes in the movies. You're the person with the suit on. You're interrogating the criminal, A.K.A. the ego. You're asking it, why are you here? What purpose does it serve for you to be here? The ego is going to be like, well, we got that raise that's coming up. Well, oh girl, she said what she said. Oh, oh boy, he said what he said. Your ego is going to throw all these things at you. You're going to be like, listen, those tactics do not work on me, ego. Why are you here? And then you're going to find some, selfish expression. Because your ego is very blunt. You may even find things that you don't even normally think about. That's because it's not you, the true you, that's thinking of those things. If you come in this visualization, in this interrogation room, and you start quote unquote having heinous thoughts, that's your ego. And it doesn't like itself being checked. So, yeah, know that. When you're talking to your ego and you're asking these questions, you literally have to understand that the ego only cares about survival. That's it. The ego is not good or bad. It may look like it's bad, but it's neither. Because it only cares about survival. So you literally have to convince the ego that this vessel is not fit for survival. See, the Buddha consciousness technique is basically invite the ego in for tea. And you integrate it that way. But this is a little different. This is a little deeper. This is a mixture of Christ consciousness and Buddha consciousness. You literally describe to the ego divine laws. And you say, listen, this body is moving on a pathway and has already integrated the pathway because you know about the law as above, so below. If your physical body is embarking on a path, like a spiritual path, then you have already mastered that path in the realms of spirit, in the realms of God in heaven, because time isn't real. The moment you think about doing something, it's done in the most masterful way. That's truly what as above, so below means. If you are wanting to be a content creator, no, in spirit, you've mastered it. You got millions upon it the moment you thought about it. So you talk to the ego like, listen, this body has mastered that which is the light, as above, so below. The abundance of God is just catching up to this body because it's being filtered through time. So you understand one of the divine laws is separation isn't so as it pertains to the light. So if I become the light ego and I integrate this and you represent separation, you're quite literally not going to survive. So do you think it will be in your best interest to stay in this vessel? You care about survival, right? There's plenty of other vessels out here. There's plenty of other things to do in this world rather than try to fight a losing battle. The ego is going to think and be like, oh snap, you're right. And then you'll see for the next 3 days, you will have more loving thoughts. And then on the 4th day, the ego will try to, creep up because it wants to see, oh, I gave him 3 days because I understand the power of 3 and all of this. But let's see if you're really about it. Let's see if you were just, bluffing. The ego is going to try to call your bluff. But no, I'm not bluffing. You got to stand in that. You have to live the light. This is how you resolve internal anger. You quite literally convince the ego that is no longer needed. And from doing that, you release separation, you release pain, you release suffering. And then, not only do you do that, you become the light. If you're interested in some more tangible techniques, DM me or click that link in the bio and I'll align you with booking a session and we'll definitely talk about some more tangible things and get a little more personal. If you're interested in joining our mystery school, DM me and I'll give you our free 3-day course. Thank you. We are very, very grateful. We love you so very much. And with that, we say welcome home.